Solana or Sol, one of the big performers of the 2021 bull market, now currently around 92% down from all-time highs. A controversial project as well due to its ties with FTX. However, that's not what I'm going to be talking about in this video. In this video, I'm going to be looking at Sol from strictly a TA perspective and as a chart, and what I'm going to be looking at is some potential targets both to the downside and to the upside. I'm going to be looking at some bullish signals to watch out for, when I would like to have my bags packed if I were an investor in this project, some TP areas for both the USDT and the BTC pairs and why it's so important to take profits along the way. And then finally at the end, I'll briefly explain the relationship between ALT-BTC pairs, ETH-BTC and the Bitcoin dominance charts for those who may not be aware of how they work, similar to how I did in my previous video with the AVAX TA video, which you can go and check out on the channel. But quickly, before I get into that, the reason why there's a 5 to 50k challenge in the title of the video, and while the watch list is called LC Trading Challenge, if you can join the dots, it is because I am running a 5k to 50k trading challenge on the Learning Crypto Premium with the assets you can see in front of you. So ADA, AVAX, Mana, Rose and Sol. I've already done the TA video on AVAX and ADA. And obviously today I am doing Solana. I will be doing Mana and Rose in the coming days and weeks. So look out for that. And if you wanted to join in on the trading challenge, join our premium. Links in the description below. We've got a free trial and all that good stuff. Cancel anytime. So jump in, use the free trial. If you like what you see, stick around. If you don't, then obviously free to leave. But with that out of the way, let's get into the chart. So as I mentioned, 92% down there or thereabouts from all-time highs. It was about 95% back in the summer, back in June. But let's get rid of that and zoom in on current prices. So weekly time frame, you can see very nice, neat, clean weekly range. We're currently in range high around $26, range low around $12. We got that little deviation of the range low back at the end of last year, start of this year, and we got a little deviation to the top of the range as well in July. So currently in and around sort of the mid-range of between the mid-range and the range high at $23. So there is a good chance that we may well revisit the range lows down at $12. And in my personal opinion, any buys in and around this range are fantastic. So if we just quickly take a quick look at what a return to all-time highs would be from today's prices at $23.24, you are looking at a 1,000% increase, so a 10x on your money, which is not to be sniffed at all. And you're not going to find that in many other markets anywhere else. So not bad prices here, and of course the lower we go towards that range low, the better your dollar cost average entry can be. So whilst alts could still go lower, and I believe they will, still not a bad time to start thinking about packing those bags, because you don't want to wait and then miss the bottom completely. Dollar cost averaging, as I say, in this range, you're still getting good value for money in my personal opinion. Now, if I were an investor in this coin, where would I like to have my bags packed? And that would be before we break out of this range high here at $26. I think that once we break out of this range, we're quickly going to shoot up. So basic range technical analysis, you don't very often get a second deviation of a range. So we've had one deviation to the downside, one deviation to the upside. When we get that next break of this range high $26, I believe we will very quickly make our way up north, and you don't want to be scrambling, packing your bags when we break out of this range high, because you start adding to risk and you don't get the same returns on your investment. So as I say, not a bad time to start looking at packing those bags, and not just for Sol, but all alts are in very, very good prices. Some of them even back down to the 2020 lows. So not that I'm endorsing investing in Sol or anything like that, of course, not financial advice. Do your own research, find the coins and projects you like, but hypothetically, if I were invested in Sol, I would want to have my bags packed before we break that range high, and that's what I'll be doing for the trading challenge. Now let's get on to the fun stuff. Let's have a look at some TA targets for taking some profits. So I've got them already lined up for you. Let's see where the first one is, and that it comes in at around $50. So as you can see, previous resistance back here in April and May 21, also resistance here in July and August 2022. And what I'm going to do for each price target, I'm going to show you what the profit is from current day's prices, and you are looking at around 100, just over 100%. So doubling your money, obviously, from $23 up to around $50. Now, if you can get a slightly better entry, let's say you can get an average entry round about the mid-range, that dramatically increases, as you can see, to about 160%. But as I say, you don't want to be waiting and waiting, not buying any, hoping for that range low of $12.30 that never comes. Any buys in this range are pretty good in my personal opinion. So what comes after that? You're looking at around $80. So as you can see, previous resistance here in August 21 and support back here in February and March 2022. And very quickly take a look at what that is from current day's prices. And you're looking at around 245 to 250%. So not too bad at all. Next TP area would be up here at $140. Now you could potentially take another TP around here around 115. If you take the TP area of 77 and 140, you can see the mid-range comes out around 110. Again, not a bad little place to take profit, as you can see. It was resistance here and support, but in my personal opinion, you can see this is quite clearly a range. And if we deviate back inside the bottom of the range here at $80, I think we'll very easily get back up to 140, which is why I would be waiting for there to take another bit of profit. So from current day's prices, you are looking at almost a 500% return up to $140. Next TP area, you can see this resistance up here at 175. So resistance in September and October of 2021, and then support in November and December 21 before we finally started collapsing. And a return from here to $180 would be a 650% return on your money. Fantastic. And then we've got one more. Have we got another one? I think I might miss one. Yep, sorry, wrong order. So the next one would be at $200. Again, resistance here in September 21 and October 21, and then resistance as well once we got back underneath it in November and December 21. So from current day's prices, a return to $200 is about a 760% return on your money. And then the absolute all-time high is back at $250. Again, from current day's prices, you're looking at almost a 10x, as we mentioned before, 964%. Absolutely fantastic. Now, with this in mind, what I would caveat this section to say is that a return to all-time highs is not guaranteed for any project. So do not be that person that holds on and holds on and holds on, doesn't take any profit, waiting for all-time highs that A, might never come, and B, we could have some dramatic or we certainly will have pullbacks, but we could have some severe pullbacks before we get there, much like we did, if you remember, BTC back in May 2021. We had this huge 50% pullback from, 64k all the way down to 30k, 55%. You don't want to be that person that's hanging on, doesn't take any profit, and then ends up round tripping, or just ends up with all those gains still on the table. What you can also do as well is you can have a small amount when you take those profits. If we come back, retest the previous area of resistance as support. So say we break above $80, we then hit 138, we come back down to $80, you can then re-inject that capital back in, buy more units, or simply move it into another project to diversify, or even just take it straight out of the space, out of the industry, and put it in your bank. Because when it's moved into your bank account and it's money that you can actually spend and move around, it feels very different to the monopoly money that you feel like you're playing with in the crypto space. So as I say, very important to take profits. No one goes broke taking profits, but as many people have probably experienced, especially in your first cycle, many people leave a lot of money on the table and then regret it. So very important to take profits. Even if you just took 10% at each of these, like I mentioned on my last video on ADA, 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60%, you'd still have 40% of all the units you've bought down here for cheapest chips prices to ride into new all-time highs. So don't be greedy, take some profits. Let's move on then to the SOLBTC chart. Similar setup. So weekly time frame, you can see we've got this nice clean range, range high around 10,700 sats, range low around 4,200, and we're currently around the mid-range. The mid-range is 7,600 sats, and we are currently at about 8,300 sats. So once again, if I were an investor, I would want my bags packed before we retest the range high at $10,000-ish $10,000-ish sats, because I would not want to be scrambling to try and add to my bags once we've broken out of this range. Again, I think once we break out this range, it'll be a very quick move north, and I want my bags fully packed. So I'll sit back, relax, and have a look and wait for my TP areas to hit. Speaking of which, let's take a look at what my TP areas would be on the SOLBTC chart. So first one, very obvious level here at about 18,000 sats, clear level of resistance all the way through the summer of 2022, and that comes in at about 18,500 sats. So from current day's prices, you would be looking at a 125% return on your Bitcoin. So doubling and a little bit extra, not too bad at all. And as I say, once we get through there, it looks like a very clear space. I think we'll move very quickly from 10,000 sats up to 18,000 sats. So as I say, you don't want to be scrambling in and around here, adding to risk and not getting the full reward of the multiples. Second TP area, again, very clear level. It was support back here in October 21 and then flipped to resistance in Feb 2022 before flipping briefly to support again in April 22 before finally being lost. And that is at 25,000 sats. Again, from current day's prices, you are looking at a return of 200%. So again, tripling your Bitcoin there, not too bad at all. Next TP area, again, very nice, clear, obvious level. Support here in September 2021 and October 21 before finally being lost in January 2022. And from current day's prices, you are looking at a return of 275%. Final two TP areas, they're pretty obvious. This level of, call it 40,000 sats that we never got a weekly close above. We tested it many times, but never got a weekly close above 40,000 sats. And again, from this point today up to there is a 388% return. And then finally, the obvious level is the absolute all-time highs around 46,500 sats, which from here you're looking at a return of almost 500%, so about 470%. Not bad at all. An incredible return on your Bitcoin if, again, I caveat, if it returns to all-time highs. Again, if we get a slightly better entry, let's say we get in and around the mid-range, it increases the percentages slightly, as you can see. 125 becomes 144, 200 becomes 227, 275 becomes 312, 388 becomes 429, and 471 becomes 518%. So anywhere, I believe, in this range is good value for money. Nice area to start dollar cost averaging in. If we do get a retest of these range lows down here at 4,000 sats and you like the project, then you can load up there. But don't sit and wait for something that might never come. Also, the last thing I'm going to say about taking profits, let's take a quick look at ADABTC, because whilst ADA USDT made all-time highs in the last cycle, the ADABTC chart did not. So ADA USDT in 2017 topped out around $1.30. You can find that on the Kraken chart. This is unfortunately the Binance chart, but as you can see, well clear of its previous all-time high at $3. But on the BTC chart, you can see that we topped out in 2017 or 2018 rather at about 8,800 sats. In the last cycle, we only topped out at 6,200 sats. So again, I repeat my previous words of warning: don't hold out for all-time highs, as they may not come. Certainly in the BTC pairs, you want to be taking those profits. Finally, then, I'll quickly cover the ETH-BTC Bitcoin dominance relationship. So ETH-BTC is usually used as a good barometer for the strength of altcoins against BTC. So, of course, you as I've just shown, you have alts versus alt USDT pairs and alt BTC pairs. Basically, ETH-BTC is usually a good signal for how well the alts are doing against BTC. So normally what happens in bull markets, money goes from stables and cash into BTC. That money then rotates into Ethereum, which then rotates into the higher cap altcoins and into the mid caps, lower caps, etc., like a waterfall effect. So once you start seeing Ethereum outperforming Bitcoin, that's when you're going to start to see altcoins outperforming Bitcoin as well. And that's where the true gains are made. And at the moment, ADABTC has been on an absolute downfall ever since September 22. As you can see, we're in this monthly range. We're currently very close to the monthly range low at 0.053. We almost tapped it today on the back of the false rumours that the ETF had been approved. That was a fun day earlier. A good 10 minutes or so, but as you can see, very close to that monthly range low. Now, I've been saying for quite a while, I think this will be the perfect area to buy alts, especially against BTC and even Ethereum. However, there is still some room to go. I think BTC still may have some downside to go, and I think Bitcoin dominance still has some upside. So we may even reach 0.04 potentially. Or another thing I'd like to see, if we got below and then broke back above, so a deviation, then that is what I would be looking at as a big signal to be getting into alts, finish packing bags, etc. So if we go to the weekly as well, you can see bearish downtrend or bearish trend line still intact. Wouldn't be surprised to see a bit of a bounce here somewhere. Maybe retest this weekly level at 0.057 as resistance if it's lost to support before one more leg down. Or as I say, we could get a big wick like this and then get back inside the monthly range. But that's what I'm looking for in terms of a signal to be getting into alts, to finish, buying my bags in alts versus BTC. And I'll quickly show you the Bitcoin dominance chart. As you can see, at that 52% resistance point, if it breaks this level of resistance and runs for 57%, that's where you're going to see ETH/BTC potentially drop to 0.04, and that's where I think will be the upper extremities of Bitcoin strength, and that's where you're going to start to see money rotate into ETH and then into altcoins. So something to watch out for and keep in mind for the upcoming cycle. So hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please smash a like and consider subscribing. As I said earlier in the video, if you want to check out our Learning Crypto Premium, follow the link to our website, and we look forward to seeing you in there. So hope you enjoyed the video, and I'll see you on the next one.